Wrigleyville abuzz as we get set for Chicago Cubs baseball on Comcast Sportsnet. The wind blowing straight out tonight as the Astros come in. This is a very important four-game series. The Cubs are now leading the NL Central Division for the first time since late April. The standings look like this. Cubs in first, having won 8 of 10 coming out of the break. The Cardinals a half game back. Houston losing its last two, just 2 games out. Hi again, everyone. Along with Bob Brenly, I'm Len Casper. This should be a lot of fun. Cubs and the Astros here from Wrigley Field. Let's take a look at some of the numbers for the Cubs since the second half began.
Yeah, you didn't really want to look at the numbers too much in the first half, but it's been a completely different story recently. Since the All-Star break, the Cubs have won 8 out of the 10 ball games. You see the home runs, 13 bombs in 10 games, and accordingly, the runs per game way up.
For the Astros, they normally play a lot better in the second half than they do in the first. This year, they started that turnaround just a little earlier.
You know, I think the Astros turnaround started when Lance Berkman turned his season around. Their all-star first baseman got off to a very slow start, but when he picked it up, the Astros started to play better. The good news for Cub fans is Lance Berkman's on the disabled list for this series.
And Chris Coast, normally a catcher, is going to be filling in for him at first base in this series. What a pitching matchup tonight. On paper, one of the best of the year. 2 very hot pitchers tonight.
Extremely hot pitchers. Wandy Rodriguez has won 5 of his last 6 starts. The Astros won the other one. He was not the pitcher of record. Cubs have seen him 12 times before. They've seen him at his best. They've seen him at his worst. Big Z just hoping to keep the train moving.
Both guys have had a tremendous month of July. So we'll have Cubs baseball coming up here on Comcast Sportsnet. Cubs are swinging hot bats. They hope to continue that tonight against the Astros.
Vienna. Honda. Test drive a 2009 Honda today at your Honda dealer. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois. Dedicated to giving you the security to experience wellness everywhere. And by Southwest Airlines. Southwest Airlines is ready when you are. Go to southwest.com. Grab your bag. It's on.
Warm night, wind blowing out. Had a very brief shower about an hour ago, but no problems at the moment as we get set for the first pitch. It'll be thrown by Carlos Zambrano against this Astros Southwest starting lineup. They don't strike out much. They don't walk a lot. A lot of contact in this lineup, and a lot of high batting averages as well. Bourne, Matsui, Tejada at the top. Carlos Lee always hits not only Big Z, but the Cubs very well. Blum, Hintz, Coast at first for Berkman. And Quintero and Rodriguez matching up in terms of their battery.
A couple of slight changes in the lineup for Lou Piniella tonight. Soriano in left, Bradley in right, Reed Johnson in center field, Ramirez and Terrio on the left side. Jeff Baker getting a start against the left-hander at second base. Derek Lee back in there. Good to see him back in the lineup after missing a game with neck spasms. Coy Hill once again behind the plate for right-hander Carlos Zambrano.
He's trying to make it 4 straight wins. Ball one low to speedy Michael Bourne, who leads the National League in steals and triples. There's the first strike. Z, it's like he wants to work fast as normal. Bourne having a very good year. On base percentage in the mid 350s. He rolls one to Jeff Baker. 3 pitches, 1 out. Set the umpires here while Z takes at least 1 breath. Mike Everett will call the balls and strikes. Brian Gorman at first. The crew chief is Jerry Davis at second. C.B. Buckner down that third base line. As Matsui, switch hitting second baseman, takes strike 1. Nice birthday present for the GM. Jim Hendry woke up today, looked at the morning paper, and saw his team was in first. Although I think he knew that after yesterday's games around baseball.
No birthday surprise.
So happy birthday to Jim. But things can change quickly. We'll keep a very close eye on the Dodgers and Cardinals tonight in St. Louis. Cardinals lead 2-1 as they play the top of the 4th in that one. Chris Carpenter for St. Louis. Randy Wolf on the mound for the Dodgers. Just missed. 2-2 on Matsui. Z rocks and fires, and Matsui just nicked it to hang in there. These two teams have a long way to go in this season series. 7 left. They'll all be here. The game on Thursday afternoon is a makeup of a rainout earlier this season, back on May 15th. Z can't get it, but Baker does. And throws out Matsui. Illinois quarterback Juice Williams throwing out the ceremonial first pitch.
Go deep. They threw it low and away to keep it away from the defensive back right there.
And they're cheering on the Cubs tonight. Miguel Tejada fouling back. See a lot of contact from him. He doesn't strike out much. Leads the league in hits, doubles, multi-hit games, and right now second in batting average. He's only trailing Hanley Ramirez, although he's trailing by 22 points.
Just imagine where Tejada would be if he draw a walk once in a while.
Z getting 3 groundouts. Terrio to Lee, and that's the inning. Tough matchup for the Cubs offensively tonight against Wandy Rodriguez, who's been dealing. starting lineup against tough left-hander Wandy Rodriguez. Reed Johnson starts it in center. Ryan Theriot, good numbers against Rodriguez. Lee, Ramirez, Bradley. Good to see Derek back in there. Soriano at left, Baker at second. Hill and Z go 8 and 9.
Take a look at the Astros defensively. El Caballo, Carlos Lee in left field, Michael Bourne in center, Hunter Pence over in right, Jeff Blum, Miguel Tejada, Kaz Matsui, and Chris Coast across the infield tonight. Humberto Quintero behind home plate. He'll be catching pitches from left-hander Wandy Rodriguez. So Rodriguez has been really good his last 6 starts, winning 5 of them. The Astros won the other game. He was not the pitcher of record. This is a very good defensive Astros ball club. They lead the National League in double plays turned, 4th fewest errors in the National League. Good arms across the outfield.
A called strike on a fastball to Reed Johnson. Just as you were setting the defense, I heard a chorus of boos, and I looked out to left field, and Carlos Lee was pointing at the regulars out in the bleachers and having a little fun.
They give it to the Astros big left fielder when he comes in here to Wrigley, but he takes it with a smile.
Quintero has been matching up with Rodriguez lately. A little dribbler right back to the pitcher, and he'll throw out Johnson. Talking to people who watch his team every day, Bob, sounds like Rodriguez has gone away from his changeup a little bit. Basically, yeah, 2-pitch guy. A fastball curve, and good enough to sport the best ERA in the majors this month.
He really throws 2 different fastballs. One will fade and sink away from the right-handed hitter, a cutter that'll work into the right-handed hitters. But has that big curveball, was his out pitch against the Cardinals his last time out. He gave up only 4 hits and 1 run in 7 innings. And according to the report, had a real good curveball going against St. Louis.
0.62 here in the month of July. They have been carried in terms of their starting pitching by Rodriguez and Roy Oswalt since June 29th. So going back almost a full month, the Astros are 9-0 in starts made by those 2 guys. And guess who's going to start tomorrow? Roy Oswalt. See Cooper mapping out his rotation, made sure that both pitchers were going to face the Cubs in this important series. Ryan Dempster will come off the DL tomorrow night to face Oswalt. The 3-0 to Theriot, taken all the way for a strike.
Talked to Larry Rothschild today about Ryan Dempster, and if he's content that Ryan has passed all the tests necessary to take the ball and start that game, and Larry said he looks great.
High fly into center. Michael Bourne is under it and makes a catch. 78 degrees, the wind out of the southwest blowing straight out to center at 9 miles an hour. Very comfortable night. You see that Cubs blue flag right at the top of the center pole for the first time since April 21st. Eric Lee missed 1 game with neck spasms. He will leave early on Saturday. Actually tweaked the neck on a slide, so we'll have to keep an eye on him here the last couple of months. If we see a base running situation where he doesn't slide, maybe at home plate, for instance. I think we know why.
It was a very awkward slide into third base. Derek, I'm not sure if he was caught in between whether to go in standing up or slide, but he went down very late, hit the ground hard, kind of rolled over on his side. I mean, for a big guy, Derek is normally very agile on the base pass. He got caught in between on that one particular slide and jarred his neck enough that he had to miss a ball game.
One and 2 the count. Here's a pitch. There's the curve. It's high. See that? A little faster than the curve. Fastball?
I think that was a cutter. Sometimes he gets around the cutter and it's a little slower and breaks a little more, almost like a slider. Other times it'll have fastball velocity with just a little bit of late movement into the right hand.
It's foul. the two guys who've really handled Rodriguez well in this lineup, Terrio and Lee. And a lot of the Cubs have struggled, including Aramis Ramirez at just 231. Soriano 1 for 14. Outside, full count, 3-2.
And even though you mentioned that Wandy Rodriguez has not been using his changeup as much lately, I have to believe that Alfonso Soriano is going to see his share of changeups in this game.
It's a line in the left. Lee plays pretty deep out there. And Derek with the first base hit of the night.
El Caballo playing right out there next to the fans that were hooting on him a little bit earlier in the ball game. He does play an extremely deep left field. Michael Bourne and Hunter Pence both with plus speed in center and right field. Carlos Lee a little more cautious out there in left.
What a weekend Ramirez had against the Cincinnati Reds. Foul tip, strike one. 2 homers, 3 doubles, 7 hits in all. Knocked in 5. He's 9 for his last 16 going back to the end of that Phillies series. Ground ball to Matsui. He'll flip to Tejada to force Derek Lee, and that's the inning. A 2-out single, no runs. Early on after 1, 0-0. This is the kind of matchup people pay good money to see. Carlos Zambrano against Carlos Lee.
And it's been a good one over the years as you get a look at Carlos Lee's numbers this season against Carlos Zambrano. He's had pretty good success. 19 for 52. That's a .365 average with 5 doubles, 4 homers, and only 7 strikeouts. That's a little surprising.
El Toro against El Caballo. He doesn't strike out all that much for a power hitter. The 0-2. He fouls it back into the upper deck. As Bob mentioned, Berkman not available in this series. He's on the DL with a calf injury. Strained left calf. Deep to center, and Reed Johnson can only watch it go. on top of the batter's eye on an 0-2 pitch. Wow. That's a leadoff home run for Carlos Lee. So he has the bragging rights out in left, at least early on in this series.
Strength against strength. Not a real good 0-2 pitch from Carlos Zambrano. A belt high sinker right in the middle of the plate that really didn't do too much. Talk about Lee's ability to avoid the strikeouts. That's because, unlike a lot of power hitters, believe it or not, he shortens up his swing a little bit with 2 strikes and still able to generate that kind of power.
First homer this year for Lee on an 0-2 count, and he's now is 3 homers away from 300 in his career, and barring some season-ending injury, pretty much get there, and the Astros would become the first team in history to have 3 players reach that plateau in the same season. Three and one on Jeff Blum, who had game-ending RBIs in back-to-back games against the Cubs in Houston in June. Back to Z. Really fired one over to Derek. Berkman and Judge Rodriguez, the other 2 to get their 300th home run this year. Like this one caught Derek a little bit by surprise.
I'm sure Carlos is frustrated giving up the leadoff home run to Carlos Lee, but this is not the time to take out your frustrations. First baseman trying to get over there and cover the bag, and Carlos didn't give him enough time to get over there. Fortunately, Derek was able to handle it no problems, but a few words for his pitcher after the play.
Fastball strike on first-time All-Star Hunter Pence.
I've seen already a couple times Coy Hill turn his wrist around almost backwards trying to catch that sinker down and into right-handed hitters. As that pitch starts to move inside to the right-hander, you want to keep the fingers of the catcher's mitt up if at all possible. Make that pitch look a little bit better, but as it keeps moving, eventually you have to drop your thumb and the fingers of the glove down. As catchers call those thumb burners. Those hurt.
The 2-1 is on the way, and Pence lifts into left, fairly deep but playable for Soriano, just on the edge of the grass. Watch the Cubs host the Astros tomorrow night at 7:05. Be sure to arrive early. The first 10,000 fans get a Cubs Fathead. Compliments of Gatorade. Chris Coast has been filling in at first base for Lance Berkman, and he's hit .320 in 7 starts at first. He almost became a Cub. The Phillies got him on waivers. Rather, the Astros got him from the Phillies on waivers on July 10th. Cubs had an interest in him, but when the claims were made, the Astros were a half game behind the Cubs, so they got him. It was around the time when Cubs were looking for some help with Giovanni Soto going down on the DL. Nice to be wanted. Chris Coast has had an interesting career. There was a long time when nobody wanted him. Didn't make his major league debut until he was 33 years old. He strikes out to end the second. Carlos Lee with a booming home run to straightaway center, and the Astros are out in front. Cubs second as they trail 1-0 called strike. Bradley's batting .343 from the right side. A little help here. Excellent slide yesterday to score an important run. His comments after the game to reporters said he was watching Fontenot or Terrio do it. He said it was the first time he had ever tried that slide, and it's a good way to do it. Slide around the catcher and get your hand in. Key is that you touch home plate, and he slapped it right down in the middle of the dish.
And that's one of those things, Len, you have to make up your mind immediately. You can't predetermine as you're rounding third base, well, okay, I'm going to slide to the left, get around it. You just have to wait and see how the catcher reacts to the throw, and then very quickly determine your best route to the plate. And Milton Bradley put an outstanding slide on at home plate.
Popped into shallow center. Matsui going after it. Can't get it. And it's a bloop hit for Bradley. Good effort by Matsui. But just perfectly placed for a leadoff single.
Mentioned the defense that this Astros team plays. Kaz Matsui at second base with only 2 errors on this season, and he knows he has to cover a lot of ground in shallow center and right because the Astros play so deep defensively. Nice effort, comes up just a little short.
Brings up one of the hottest hitters in the lineup, Alfonso Soriano, hitting .444 during a 9-game hitting streak, but the Astros are going to do what they do best. Turn a 6-4-3 double play. And normally, Bob, they start with the shortstop.
110th time this season the Astros have turned a double play behind their pitching staff. Soriano picking on the first pitch, a hard hit ground ball right to Tejada. It's a room service double play.
73 double plays for Miguel Tejada. That leads all Major League shortstops. Jeff Baker getting the start at second. Outside corner strike. I think Wandy Rodriguez is a great example of a guy who has okay stuff. Nothing jumps out at you, but he knows how to use it. And we've seen Wandy since basically his Major League debut. He's gotten better and better as his career has gone on.
I think he's an example of a pitcher that knows what he has to work with and figured out a way to use it effectively against Major League hitters. He knows he's not going to blow fastballs by too many guys. He has to rely on command, nipping away at the corners of the strike zone. He's very good at going up the ladder. Get ahead in the count, move the next fastball up 6 inches, move the next one up 6 inches more. And always has that big curveball in his back pocket.
Made his Major League debut in this ballpark back on May 23rd of 2005. Took the loss, but got his first Major League hit that night. Doesn't take a lot of time in between pitches. Gets the ball ready to throw it. Rough numbers here on the north side of Chicago, but he's been better against the Cubs overall lately. Winless in 2 starts this year, but allowing just 1 run both times out. Both those starts were in Houston. Swing and a miss to end the inning. Leadoff single, but then the double play ball. And Rodriguez's first strikeout of the night. 1-0 Houston. Dex coming up tonight after Cubs post-game live coverage of Big Ten Media Days. We look ahead to college football plus a full Major League recap. Join Mark and Pat for Sports Night presented by Dex tonight after Cubs post-game live only on Comcast Sportsnet, fans' best friend. Len and Bob and our Comcast Sportsnet crew from the friendly confines. The first place Cubs hosting their third place Houston Astros. Sounds like the Astros are not going to be able to add any sort of significant salary as we get near the non-waiver trade deadline. If Ed Wade, the GM, had some money to spend, there's no doubt he would go out and look for another starting pitcher, but sounds like he's going to go with what he has. I think for the Astros, this series in particular will tell them a lot about their chances.
And even more specifically, probably the first two games of this series. If Wandy Rodriguez and Roy Oswalt continue to pitch as well as they have recently, and somehow the Astros can find a way to win those first two ball games, they'd have to feel pretty good about themselves. Contrarily, if the Cubs would happen to steal one or two of those games to start this series, all of a sudden the balance shifts over to that third base dugout.
Quintero striking out. Back-to-back Ks for Z going back to the second inning against Coast. Just went right through it. Two 2-0 on the pitcher Rodriguez, as we always say, listed as a switch hitter. Never quite sure how he's going to do it, but he is batting lefty against the right-hander Zambrano. Coming back quickly on a 2-1, and that's a liner caught by Reed Johnson.
Whoa. Did you lose a bet?
Punk rocker right there. One thing Michael Bourne can't do in this series is run up a hill out in center to make a catch. Something he did in Houston in June. One of the best catches we've ever seen. Having Micah Hoffpower.
That's about the only way you can slow Michael Bourne down, is make him run uphill. He has been a terror on the base paths this year. Good guy to keep off the pads in this series.
Doesn't get much better than this.
Deepest part of the ballpark for Micah Hoffpower, tumbled over onto his backside, able to stay focused on the baseball and reach up and make the catches. He was laying on Towles Hill.
Cecil Cooper's team surged late last year to get back into the playoff picture before fading right at the end. Had to deal with Hurricane Ike. Stress certainly off the field for the Astros. They had to play those makeup games in Milwaukee, one of which ended up being a no-hitter for Zambrano. Ted Lilly had his left knee scoped today. He's on the DL with the shoulder injury, but Cubs decided to get the knee done as well. Team orthopedist Dr. Stephen Grislow performed the procedure. And Ted hopefully will be back around the middle part of August. If he has any questions about knee surgery, I'm sure you can give him some advice.
I was just thinking, from past experience, I would have to assume that Ted's a little woozy right about now.
Pretty close at first, and Bourne just got back in time.
That's the toughest call for a first base umpire to make when that tag is applied near the belt of the base runner, and you have to try to see his hand and see the tag at the same time. That was a lot closer than it looked.
Three and 0 to Matsui. Other than the first batter, he's been getting behind here. Behind the pitcher, in fact. Bourne takes off, called strike. Got him. He ran on a 3-0 pitch and got thrown out by Coy Hill. That ends the inning. Still 1-0 Houston.
On Kaz Matsui, but Bourne takes off and Coy Hill guns him out at second base. I'll tell you, Coy Hill has really enjoyed his time as a starter since the injury to Giovanni Soto. He's, look at that, 144 2/3 out of 146 2/3. Jake Fox has caught 2 innings since Giovanni Soto went on the disabled list. Coy Hill's caught the rest of it, including a split doubleheader against the Cardinals right before the All-Star break.
There's a 1-1 from Rodriguez. Dropped in the curve for strike 2. Big game for Coy. Yesterday, a walk, a double, his first career triple. Knocked in a run, scored a run, strikes out on his first at bat tonight. Time for a Coors Light freeze can. Kind of an important play at the time, top of the 8th, as Edwin Encarnacion was trying to score. It would have been a sac fly, but he was called out. Coy Hill never did tag him. He should have been called safe. He was called out. And we also showed that Encarnacion was looking toward the outfield the entire time down the line. Maybe could have made it not so close. Cubs have been playing well, are getting a few breaks too, which is fine.
Yeah, not only did he watch Kosuke Fukudome pick the ball up in center field, he watched the flight of the baseball, and I have to believe that slowed him down a 1/10 of a second or two. Would have made it a much easier call for Laz Diaz behind home plate, but as it was close enough for him to bang the runner at home plate.
Two-one to Zambrano, deep to center. Bourne is back on the track. Can't get it, just off his glove. Z will have a double. Hardest hit ball for the Cubs early on against Rodriguez. 22nd career double for Z, his third this year.
Right about now would be a good time to ask Michael Bourne if it's tougher to run up Towles Hill to make a play or run into a brick wall covered with ivy. Well, he hit that wall hard after that ball tipped off his glove out there in deep center field. Came out of the vines looking at his right hand. Carlos with a one-out double.
And I wonder if maybe he pulled up just the slightest bit going after that ball, knowing full well that at some point he was going to meet that wall.
It's been known to happen.
A little bit of a stutter step right there at the end as he went up to get it. Inside to Reed Johnson. Tying run at second base. First time the Cubs have had a man in scoring position. Rodriguez, the sign from Quintero, and a bouncer foul past Jeff Blum at third. See how he's taking full strides, and then that little stutter step. So I think he thought he was going to meet the wall a little sooner than he did.
You know, and one of the things outfielders do when they go to a visiting ballpark as batting practice is progressing, they check the width of the warning tracks. They're not all uniform around baseball. In some ballparks, outfielders know they have exactly 2 full strides on the track and then they're going to hit the wall. In other ballparks, it may be 3 or 4 strides on the warning track before you hit the wall. And that time it looked like Bourne thought he was closer to the vines than he really was.
And it's even trickier in the wells. Depending on the angle for the outfielder, you can have actually a little more warning track than you think. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. 2 down in the inning. On May 3rd, the Cubs retired the number 31 in honor of 2 of the greatest pitchers to ever wear a Cubs uniform. Hall of Famer Fergie Jenkins and future Hall of Famer Greg Maddux. For a limited time, Cub fans can purchase their very own commemorative painting of Jenkins and Maddux. Each painting is signed by the artist and individually numbered. Order yours today at Cubs.com. And while you're there, go to the auction section. We have mentioned this before, but there's an auction that actually closes Wednesday night. A chance to have lunch and hang with Ryan Theriot. This is all for Cubs Care. Baseball clinic as well. And you get tickets to the game. So check it out on Cubs.com. Go to the auction link. Proceeds will benefit Cubs designated charities. And speaking of that, Cubs Charities today announced a $50,000 grant to the AIDS Foundation of Chicago in connection with the concerts here at Wrigley Field this month. Cubs Charities will donate $150,000 to organizations serving Chicago in connection with the 3 concerts. Elton John and Billy Joel, and Rascal Flatts. Two to Theriot, bouncer to Miguel Tejada, plays it cleanly and gets the out. Z with the double, but he's stranded at second. We've completed 3. It's 1. to work with the grounds crew. Aaron Cardwell from Chicago. Good to see Aaron here at the ballpark. Very focused at the moment. What's up, Aaron? Kaz Matsui has seen 11 pitches tonight. He took a 3-0 pitch for a strike, on which Michael Bourne was thrown out, stealing to end the third inning. So Matsui starts over again. There was ball 4. There's ball 5. But it's only ball 2.
Yeah, and Len, I'm not totally opposed to that 3-0 stolen base. I think there's a right time for it, and that probably wasn't the right time for Michael Bourne to try it. Zambrano had just walked Bourne, fell behind Matsui 3-0. I think you probably want to give Carlos an opportunity to maybe issue another walk, or at least force him to get back in the count to the number 2 hitter. But a lot of pitchers, catchers, and middle infielders really relax on that 3-0 pitch. They assume nobody's going to be running. That's usually the best time to try to steal a base.
Two the count. The pitch. Got him on a heater. Time for tonight's Aflac trivia question. How many players are currently enshrined in the Baseball Hall of Fame wearing an Astros cap? Well, you're looking at
I'm going right to the media guide. I'm not even going to try to bluff my way through this.
We know there are 2 who will eventually. I know one for sure. Craig Biggio. Do we assume Jet Bagwell gets in? I'd say pretty good chance. Biggio, absolutely.
Absolutely.
No doubt.
No doubt.
Hall of Famer. I guess the question I would have, what cap would Nolan Ryan be wearing? They have a couple of options. So Texas, Houston, Angels, yeah. Now I think going back, right, players just could decide what cap they wanted to wear, whereas the Hall of Fame now pretty much determines that already. I'm going to go with Nolan Ryan. Baker will spin and throw out Tejada 2 outs, bringing up Carlos Lee. Blues raining down on Carlos Lee, and it supplied the only run tonight. A home run to straightaway center.
Joe Morgan was an Astro briefly, most valuable player of the team back in 1970, but I know he went in as a Red.
Johnson puts it away, and that's it for the Astros. They go down 1-2-3 for the second time tonight. Bottom 4, 1-0 for the visitors. Astros cap on, I'm going to go with Terry Poole, Denny Walling, and Jim Pankowitz. No, none.
Really?
Nolan did not go in as an Astro. 6 members of the Hall of Fame did play for the Astros, but all wearing different caps. Strike to Derek Lee. The 0-1 from Rodriguez is bounced foul. Talked to Derek about this offense starting to do the things a lot of people thought it would do when the season began, and he pointed to Aramis Ramirez being back. What a huge difference he has made. The way Derek put it, Aramis really stretches the lineup. Oh, wow. That is deep for Derek Lee. On to Waveland. Speaking of stretching, 1-1. That's his 20th homer. So Carlos Lee for the Astros, Derek Lee for the Cubs. That was a bomb.
Our Heineken home run replay, a fastball middle of the plate. Derek Lee is absolutely all over it. Boy, that is a lightning quick swing for a big man. Got the barrel of the bat on that ball, hit it all the way out onto Waveland Avenue.
He also, with that home run, has caught Mark Grace for 12th on the all-time Cubs list with number 148 in a Cubs uniform. Ramirez was trying to hit one onto Waveland and he fouled it back. Career homer 277 for Derek Lee. And clubbed deep to center. Bourne watching it go, and it's going to be right at the base of the vines as Ramirez will have a double. Homer and a double to start the inning.
Fastball down and out over the plate. Nice piece of hitting once again by Aramis Ramirez. Didn't try to pull it, just hit it hard where it's pitched. That time the ball right at the base of the fence and straight away center field for a double.
Dewey Robinson, the pitching coach.
You know what he's telling him?
Don't give up homers and doubles.
Yeah, stop giving up extra base hits.
But just to finish the thought of Derek Lee, I mean, we've heard this reference before about stretching the lineup. Explain what that means.
On a lot of teams in Major League Baseball or high school or college or whatever league you happen to pick, usually the first 4 or 5 hitters in the lineup are guys you have to worry about. They handle the bat well, they can do some damage, maybe they run well, but then you get to the bottom of the order and the pitchers call it a breather inning as Milton Bradley grounds one that's a hot at short. That'll be an easy out. Where the pitcher doesn't necessarily have to grind quite as hard, you don't have to focus quite as hard on executing a perfect pitch every time. You feel like you can work your way through the bottom of the order, take a little bit of a breather, and then regroup to go back through the top of the order again. So when you add enough good hitters into the lineup, it lengthens that lineup. It lengthens the number of hitters that an opposing pitcher really has to concentrate and focus on executing perfect pitches.
And last year, when you look at the Cubs lineup, there was no breather.
No.
I mean, you had guys like DeRosa and Edmonds and Soto and Fontenot and Theriot occasionally near the bottom of the order.
I mean, a team this year that's in a similar situation as far as lengthening the lineup is the Los Angeles Dodgers. On any given day, they've got a guy hitting 8 that's hitting over 300.
That's a strike. Matt Kemp hitting .315, batting 8 tonight.
About that.
They still trail the Cardinals. It's 2-1 St. Louis in the bottom of the 6th. Pop down to the mitt. on a foul. Still 1-2 to Soriano. Cubs have tied it on the leadoff homer by Derek Lee, and they also have a runner in scoring position in Aramis Ramirez. Time called, and Quintero asked for it. Swing and the miss for the second out. Now it's Baker.
Not only the addition of Aramis Ramirez back into the Cubs lineup, the resurgence of Derek Lee over the last 2.5 months, but on those nights you have Carlos Zambrano on the mound. That lengthens your lineup. The opposing pitcher can't just lay fastballs in there and expect him to pop them up or ground them weakly. You've got to make good pitches on Big Z.
That is a spider, upper left, Robo can right behind home plate.
Not very big, is it? It's kind of an itsy bitsy spider. And up the Robo can.
Two balls, no strikes on Jeff Baker. Pitch. Fair ball knocked down by Blum. And he makes a nice throw across the diamond. That ball was rolling beneath Blum, but he was able to pick it up with a bare hand and make the play. Derek Lee found Waveland Avenue. Had 2 home runs tonight. Both have been hit a long way. First Carlos Lee and then Derek Lee. It's 1-1 after 4.
CSNChicago.com, brought to you by Toshiba.
Swing and a miss by Jeff Blum. We're in the 5th inning in a 1-1 tie. Bounding ball to Baker at second.
Hey, Len, while we have a second, our good buddy Dave Kaplan, who does such a great job on Chicago Tribune Live, wants to send get well wishes to Nick LaFlamme, who's watching tonight at Lutheran General Hospital. He's a sophomore at the University of Illinois. Had a little bit of a car accident. Hopefully he's resting well and see him back out here at Wrigley Field soon.
Slow to Hunter Pence. First non-strike the last 13 pitches for Carlos, who has won 3 straight games and allowed a season-high 10 hits over 6 2/3 in his last start at Philadelphia, but got a ton of run support and a 10-5 victory. This will be his last start in July. He's had a good month, 3-1 with a 2.93. Two and one to Pence. Carlos and his family are on the verge of gaining U.S. citizenship. He's from Venezuela. One of his children was born here in the States. Last time I asked him about it on the last road trip, he said basically everything's done, just the paperwork has to be filed. I said, did you get all the answers right? He said 99.9%. So apparently it was like a 1,000 question test or something. He walks Pence. So congratulations to Carlos and his family.
Yes, indeed.
He'll have dual citizenship. One out base runner. Here's Coast.
You were mentioning the journey that Chris Coast took to get to this position. It is really quite a story.
Ramirez will get one. A relay by Baker's in time. Coast playing first, but still runs like a catcher. Except for Bob Brennan, of course. Always have to throw that in there. And turn 2 to end the inning. It's 1-1. Runs so far about halfway through this game.
Well, usually these kind of games where you have two really good pitchers that are riding hot streaks and throwing the ball extremely well come down to some kind of a mistake, either a base running mistake, a defensive error.
Hill bounces out, and tonight this is a kind of night where you may give up home runs and you wouldn't even call it a mistake. It's a fly ball to center that would normally be caught could end up being a home run, especially right now. That the flags are stiff out in center. And if Z swings a bat like he did over the weekend in BP, look out. And he did. He doubled. deep center his first time up. I missed it, but you told me, was it yesterday, the BP he took?
It was a joke. He was hitting balls in the second section out in center field, right underneath the scoreboard. I'm sure some of the home runs that he hit went across Waveland Avenue and Sheffield Avenue. It was just flying out of here everywhere.
Not going to happen this time as he flails at strike 3. 5 punch outs, no walks. For Rodriguez, who's in the top 5 in ERA in the National League, 2.72. If you're traveling and can't watch your Cubs on TV, you can always catch the game on your computer with MLB.tv. It's the ultimate baseball experience, featuring 100 out-of-market games per week live on your computer, and catch those you missed on demand. For more details, visit Cubs.com, where baseball is always on. I like to keep up with a lot of the other games going on. Well, we're watching the Cubs on MLB.tv. Take a quick glance between innings. Johnson fouled it off his foot. Now the Reds had a winless road trip, so they're back home and they lead the Padres 6-3 in the 7th. They had to put 2 guys who got hurt yesterday here on the disabled list. Micah Owings and Chris Dickerson. Dickerson with a bruised right shoulder left the game after trying to make a diving catch. And Owings with a stiff shoulder as well. And that hit Johnson. No, it hit his bat, actually. It hit something, and Johnson thought it hit him. Mike Everett said it hit his bat, landed in the glove of the catcher Quintero, making it a foul tip strikeout. Hard to tell from that angle. Get another look at it later. A little bit.
A little better sell job by Reed Johnson, and possibly he does get his base on a hit by pitch there, but Mike Everett, the home plate umpire, heard some kind of contact, assumed it was with the bat, and since Quintero was able to hang on to it, he called it a strike 3.
1-1 on Quintero, followed by Rodriguez and then Michael Bourne. Two and one. Z is 13-7 lifetime against the Astros with a 2.59 ERA. Angry with himself after that last pitch to make it 3-1. And he just walked the leadoff man, so Rodriguez will have a chance to move him up with a bunt. Tomorrow morning starts your day with the Monsters in the Morning. Traffic, weather, sports, and a whole lot of fun. Monsters in the Morning with Mike North and Dan Jiggins. Tomorrow morning from 6 to 9 only on Comcast Sportsnet. Fans' best friend. Rodriguez pushes one to first, but it hit the lip of the grass and rolled foul.
And a lot of times in an obvious sacrifice bunt situation, you still have to be a little cautious as a corner infielder. I think in this particular situation, you could throw caution to the wind. Get right in Wandy Rodriguez's face if you're a Ramos Ramirez. Charge hard if you're Derek Lee. Wandy's not the kind of hitter that can pull the bat back and take a swat at it, try to punch it into play somewhere. He has a hard time making contact when he swings the bat.
Well, he was going to do that, and we talked about him being listed as a switch hitter. Lefty the first time, but now trying to bunt. Obviously feels more comfortable from the right side.
If he does pull that bat back and try to slice away at it, I think he's doing the Cubs a favor.
That one probably would have rolled foul, but Derek did not want to take a chance, so it'll be a sacrifice for Rodriguez.
There's a lot of pitchers around the National League. You do have to be very cautious because they're very capable of pulling the bat back and punching the ball through the holes in the infield. I don't think Wandy Rodriguez is one of those guys. And I think that one, you're absolutely right, would have gone foul, but Derek decides to just go ahead and take the out. But it does move Quintero into scoring position.
Play was a great example of the split-second decisions guys have to make in this game. And for Derek Lee, he basically didn't have any time. If I'm going to get the out, I got to pick it up right now. Otherwise, I have to make sure it goes foul. And because Rodriguez was handing him an out, he took it. 3-0 to Bourne.
And I'll tell you another factor. Of course, you don't have time to think about this at the time, but the first baseline gets a lot more chewed up than the third baseline. A lot of runners going from home to first, very few going from third to home.
Second walk of the inning.
And you get a lot of those cleat marks and where players have really been digging hard from home to first base.
Out. I mentioned when we started tonight, this is a contact team. They have the second fewest strikeouts in the majors, but they're only 25th in walks. So this is an offense that generally likes to swing the bat. They have waited out Big Z tonight. How about this one, Bob? 3 times tonight, Carlos has gone 3. Really hurt him, but you have Matsui at the plate and then Tejada and Lee. This is a key out right here. Outside, ball 1. How about 2 here? Gonna have to be quick about it. They get it as Derek Lee digs it out. 4-6-3 to end the inning. So 2 walks, and Z finds a way to get out of it. Still 1-1.
You can see how wide Ryan Theriot went at second base to avoid the sliding runner. The really rushes throw over there and just does get it in time to get Matsui at first base to complete the double play.
Ryan looks at a curveball for a strike. Bottom of the sixth, 1-1. Rodriguez has done a nice job against the table setters. Johnson and Theriot have combined to go 0 for 5. Right back to the mound. On Sunday, August 9th, minor league excitement returns to Wrigley Field. It's the second annual Road to Wrigley presented by National City, now part of PNC. Don't miss the action as the Iowa Cubs take on the Las Vegas 51s at Wrigley Field. Kids 14 and under will get a chance to run the bases after the game. Order your tickets today at Cubs.com. D. Lee found Waveland in the fourth inning to tie it up. Mark DeRosa with a home run in the seventh for St. Louis. Leadoff homer. It's 3-1 Cardinals against the Dodgers.
Oh my. Oh, Derek Lee is seeing the ball really good out of the hand of Wandy Rodriguez as he demonstrated in his last at bat. You need a neighborhood parking sticker to catch that ball. Oh, and what a rip he took at the pitch. He fouled straight back. Man. This is one of those deals, Len, where, you know, as a manager or a bench coach or a hitting coach or a pitching coach, if you see enough ball games and you watch enough baseball, I'm sure they're over there in that Astros dugout right now saying, man, oh man, is he locked in. We have got to be real careful with Derek Lee. Some of the swings he's taken already tonight.
First walk given up by Rodriguez. The one thing we haven't seen pretty much all year is Derek Lee getting the green light. He does not have a stolen base attempt all season. He was 8 for 10 last year. Ramirez flies down the left field line. Carlos Lee going after it, but it's going to get into the seats. And part of it now has to be the neck. I think they're going to try to avoid putting him in situations where he might hurt it. But I can tell you one thing, Derek does not want to go through the entire season without at least one attempt. Sees a career high of 21 steals back in 2003 with Florida. It's been good for about 6 to 8 the last several years.
Well, that was the year in Florida. It seemed like well into the season. I mean, nearing the All-Star break, the Marlins had like 4 of the first 5 stolen base leaders in the National League.
6, 4, 3. That's it. So Rodriguez matching Carlos Zambrano. It's 1-1 to the 7th. Into the 7th in a 1-1 tie and a first pitch strike to Miguel Tejada. And has grounded out both times. 1 minute 3:26. Olympic gold medal winning gymnast Shawn Johnson will conduct our 7th inning stretch tonight. Winner of Dancing with the Stars as well. Well, you like to dance, maybe you can get a few tips.
Anything helps.
Tejada, Lee, Blum in the inning. If anybody gets on, Hunter Pence. Going outside, 2-2. Milwaukee trying to make up some ground, hosting the Washington Nationals. Ground ball, surrounded by Terrio off that back foot, and he throws out Tejada. 2-1 Milwaukee. They're in the top of the 5th. Jeff Suppan, Craig Stammen. Pitchers in that one. After the game, stick around for Lowe's Cubs post-game live. Get highlights of all the action, analysis from Todd Hollandsworth, and check in on Lou Pinella's post-game remarks. Don't miss Lowe's Cubs post-game live immediately following the game, right here on Comcast Sportsnet, fans' best friend. Carlos Lee drills one into center. He has both their hits. In some ways, this was kind of playing out like Rich Harden's start for Carlos Zambrano. 1 hit, 1 home run. The big difference was Rich Harden didn't walk anybody. It's just their 2nd hit all night. Well, he was dazzling at times yesterday. His changeup got up to 89 miles an hour.
He commented about the cool breeze blowing off the lake, keeping him cool out there on the mound. He said it was a very comfortable day to pitch. Who said with stuff like that he could pitch on the equator at noon and get people out?
Sixth time that both Carlos and Derek Lee have homered in the same game. Three and 0 to Blum. We are going to see some action in the Cubs bullpen. Three and 1. Of all the guys in the Astros lineup who can do some damage, Aaron Heilman is up. Jeff Blum would be at the top of the list in terms of late inning heroics. He has beaten the Cubs twice already this year in the final at bat. And skies into center. Reed Johnson will catch it. 2 outs. Blum 0 for 3. Well, they say the camera adds 10 pounds, but you were telling me in the case of Hunter Pence, it might be just the opposite, right?
He's a lot bigger than he looks on television. I will say that. I went over to the Astros side today to talk to some of their coaches, and Hunter Pence came up out of the tunnel and just kept getting taller and taller as he came up the steps. He's a big guy, a wiry build, and the way he wears the socks makes him look a lot thinner than he really is.
6'4", 210. 2-0, had a home run swat. 2-1. Lee singled with 1 out. Now there are 2. Just moments away from the 7th inning stretch. Good block by Hill. 3-1. Z continues to flirt with danger in terms of the count. He was 3-1 on Jeff Blum before he flied out to center.
Watch this pitch right here. Good one right there. Took a little off, maybe a splitter down low and away. Pence looking fastball all the way, was geared up to pull one out of the ballpark. And Big Z got him way out in front. That might have just been a straight changeup that time at 81 miles an hour.
Fans are up. Lee takes off for second. Base hit into center. Lee's going to head to third and get there. And it'll bring up Chris Coast.
Carlos just reared back through his best fastball that time, and Pence lined it back up the middle of the field. Carlos Lee gets a lot of credit for his power, lack of strikeouts for a big guy, but he's a better than average base runner. He knows when to take the extra base, when he's better served just staying right where he is. That time easily went first to third.
Low for ball 1. Well, I guess we want a quick end to this half inning. We should start talking about Chris Coast's life story, right? We tried to do it twice, and both times he's made quick outs. One and one. Let's just say it's been an interesting journey.
4 times claimed as a minor league free agent. Started his professional career in independent ball in Fargo, yeah. Kind of funny looking.
Fans are up again. Everybody got here early tonight. That's his big matchup. A 1-1 tie in the 7th, and a 1-2 pitch. Coast chases, and the inning is over. Time for the stretch.
Game on behalf of United. Please welcome U.S. Olympic medalist and Dancing with the Stars champion.
Bottom of the 7th, a 1-1 tie. Z got out of a first and third jam in the top of the inning, and Milton Bradley looks at a fastball for a strike. Olympic gold medalist Shawn Johnson, great gymnast and a great dancer too, from Des Moines, Iowa, handled our stretch today. Nicely done, Shawn. I know you were a little nervous, but you did a great job.
Thank you. It was something I'm not used to.
Well, as we said, when you came into the booth, 40,000 plus are here to help you sing, and they did.
Yeah, but it's weird because you can hear yourself sing. That's like the worst part. It's just like weird, but I'll work on it.
1-2 on Milton Bradley. Well, you're in Iowa Cub country in Des Moines.
Yes, sir.
So, did you grow up a Cubs fan, or?
I did. This was, the closest to Iowa we had, so I was a huge fan. This is my first time out here, though, so.
What do you think?
It's beautiful. It's so much fun.
Hit hard, but Jeff Blum down on a knee is going to throw across to get the out.
Well, I'll tell you, Shawn, for most people it takes a lifetime to accomplish some of the things that you've already accomplished in your life, and you're only 17. What's next?
Good question. I have no idea. Maybe I'll become a singer. No. I don't know. I'm still working on that. Still trying to figure out what I want to do. But.
Soriano takes strike one. The incredible amount of hours it takes in terms of being a gymnast. Do you ever just get sick of it? Do you ever just say, oh, I don't want to do it today?
Definitely.
It's a lot of hard work.
I think everybody goes through those times, but it's a dedication thing. You have your sights set on that one goal or that one dream, which is the Olympics for me, and that's what kept me going. And, it's worth it. Once you get there, I don't know, the feeling is indescribable. It makes every little second and every hard time worth it.
And I imagine that same attitude really helped you with Dancing with the Stars, because that was something that was out of your league too.
It was. It's totally out of my comfort zone. We were dancing like 5 hours a day, and going out and doing the salsa or rumba or whatever was definitely different, but I worked hard for it.
Soriano is saying he got a piece of the ball, but Mike Everett saying no. It was a swing and a miss and strike three. So Rodriguez with 7 punch outs, 2 outs in the inning.
We've had a couple of controversial strike threes in this ball game. That ball bounced right off the plate into the midsection of Humberto Quintero behind home plate. Soriano's insisting that he got a piece of it. But Mike Everett, as always, has the final say.
1 ball, no strikes on Jeff Baker. Double barrel action now. Marmol and Heilman in the Cubs bullpen. Shawn, gold medal in the Olympics. All-around world champion gymnast. The Dancing with the Stars, winning that. How would this rank in terms of the nervous energy coming to Wrigley Field and conducting this stretch?
This ranks up pretty good, actually.
Did you lose sleep last night thinking about doing this, or did it hit
sleep
you when you walked into the booth?
I found out.
Really?
Yeah.
That's hit very well, deep to right, over Pence, and Baker's going to end up at second base with a 2-out double. So the go-ahead run in scoring position.
Good approach that time. Jeff Baker staying right on that ball, driving it to the opposite field. He struck out his first at bat, rolled over and hit a ground ball to third base in his second at bat, but learned his lesson, stayed right on that pitch and drove it out into the right field corner.
Well, Shawn, we can tell you this now that you've done it and done a good job. If you had really messed it up, this would have aired everywhere across the country for about the next week. So you avoided that. That's good.
No, oh my gosh.
No, but you did a great job.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. Don't be nervous. It's over. You've done it.
So it's not going to air all over the country?
No.
Okay,
no.
that's a good thing.
It usually only does if it's bad.
But the bad ones end up on YouTube.
The bad ones air forever. As they're going to walk Hill to get to Z. So Big Z is going to get an opportunity unless Lou decides to pinch hit for him, but I don't think he will.
Well, this may be the by-the-book move right here for Cecil Cooper, but I'm not so sure if this isn't the matchup that Lou would rather have.
comes Carlos. I find it interesting the crowd booed the decision to intentionally walk Coy Hill, and the minute they did it, they got on their feet because they wanted to see this matchup. Saw Jake Fox getting ready, but it's going to be Zambrano. A chance to give his team the lead. And remember, game-winning RBIs in back-to-back starts earlier this month. Chanting, "Let's go Z." Ground ball to short. The throw will go to second. That ends the inning. Sean Johnson, thanks for your time. Nicely done. Come back many more times, all right?
I will. Thank you.
It's 1-1 after 7. Leading off the second. Derek Lee leading off the fourth. Hello, Waveland. AT&T, the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world delivered. Aaron Heilman will replace Zambrano, who batted even though he was coming out of the game. Tough no decision for Z. Pitched well enough to win. Inside on Matt Cada, who's pinch hitting for the catcher Quintero. And Jeff Keppinger's on deck for Wandy Rodriguez. Cecil Cooper does have a little extra versatility with Chris Coast, who's been playing first but can catch. So he has Quintero, he has Pudge Rodriguez, and Chris Coast. LaTroy Hawkins dealing with some back issues. Floated, and Baker will catch it to retire the pinch hitter Cada.
Governor Pat Quinn, Lou Piniella, Micah Hoffpower, Robbie Gold, Kurt Busch, Patrick Kane, Ernie Banks, and Len Casper. What do all these famous celebrities have in common, you ask? They've all enjoyed dining at Harry Caray's during the month of July. You never know who you could run into at Harry Caray's. Visit harrycarys.com.
Whoa. All right.
Yeah. Dining with the big timers.
I got to get to the bottom of this. I'm looking at who's number 77 coming into the game. It's Pudge. Batting for Wandy Rodriguez. So we saw Keppinger in the on-deck circle. Get to the bottom of the uniform number.
Wasn't Craig Biggio number 7?
He was, and I think Pudge was wearing 12.
I thought I read somewhere that Pudge wanted to wear 7, but knew that it was going to be retired or has been retired for Craig Biggio, so he went with double 7s. He said that's twice as good.
Let's see how he's listed in the media guide. Unless I'm crazy, and I certainly could be. He was not wearing 77 the last time we saw the Astros.
That's a pretty recent change. I think what we saw there from Cecil Cooper, had Matt Cater reached base, we probably would have seen Jeff Keppinger at the plate to put down a sacrifice bunt. And since Cater did not reach base, he sends up Pudge Rodriguez with the idea that he hits for a little more power. And you're going to need a catcher in the ball game since Quintero was taken down for the pinch hitter Matt Cater.
Nobody has caught more games in the major leagues than Ivan Rodriguez, who foul tips for the strikeout.
Good location on that tailing fastball right on the outside corner.
Jim Lucy taking care of the spider on the camera.
The spider was released unharmed to roam the infield here at Wrigley.
Yes. Bourne has walked twice. Swing and a miss. We saw LaTroy Hawkins warming up in the Astros pen. And he's the only pitcher out there right now, so he'll work the bottom of the 8th. I think he had an MRI on his back. What I had read was he did not fly with the team last night. Obviously, he's well enough to pitch tonight. That got a big piece of Mike Everett. And Ed Halber from the Cubs athletic training staff is going to come out to check on him.
It's been a tough couple days for this crew. C.B. Buckner working third base tonight suffered a similar fate in the ball game last night. That one actually glanced off the helmet of Coy Hill into the face mask of Mike Everett. And knocked off that little throat guard that hangs down at the bottom of the mask. There was about a 5 to 10 minute delay in the ball game last night to make sure C.B. Buckner was okay to continue. Listen to this one. This is something that trainers around Major League Baseball have been instructed to be extremely careful with. Head injuries, foul tips to the face mask. There's a series of tests that I'm sure Ed Halber is going to make Mike Everett pass before they clear him to go back behind home plate and continue in this ball game. Jerry Davis, the crew chief, checking on his home plate umpire tonight. It looks like he's going to be okay.
Well, we have a moment. Cubs Destinations, a preferred baseball road trip provider of the team, provides fans with the most unique VIP road trip experience available. Each package includes great tickets, first-class hotel accommodations, a tour of the ballpark, and a private meet and greet with a current Cubs player. For more information, visit Cubs.com. Get back to action here on a 2-2 count. 2 down, nobody on, and a 1-1 8th inning tie. Hit foul by Bourne. Sean Marshall has joined Carlos Marmol. Former Cub Hawkins continues to fire down in that Astros bullpen. Little bit away on a mid-90s heater. That sets up a payoff pitch. We'll try it again. The next 3-2. Ground ball behind first, and Lee will take it by himself. Aaron Heilman goes 1-2-3 in the top of the 8th, top of the order for the Cubs against LaTroy Hawkins when we come back. To catch, and former Cub LaTroy Hawkins, who has been terrific with the Astros going back to the second half last year. He was acquired from the New York Yankees and has been really good. The pitch to Reed Johnson, low for ball one.
Well, since joining the Astros, 67 ball games, a 171 ERA for LaTroy Hawkins. You can see the numbers that we showed you when he came into the ball game. Righties hit much better than lefties against Hawk.
A perfect inning on Friday night. Taking 21 pitches to get through that inning against the Mets. 10 saves, filling in for Jose Valverde when he was on the DL. Cubs don't want to get into a bottom of the ninth situation, or really a last at bat situation, and extras down with Valverde pitching. He's 13 for 13 in save chances against the Cubs. Johnson held up. 2-1. kick, and the 2-1 is inside. With Pudge Rodriguez now in the game, he has caught 2,250 career games. #1 all time. Set the record in Texas. He started his major league career back on June 17. 3-1 on Johnson. The pitch. Fastball strike. Well, this is a veteran battery here, Hawkins and Rodriguez. They've been through the grinder a few times.
Now with Pudge behind the plate now, I would expect the pace of the game to slow considerably.
Two hit foul.
Ivan Rodriguez is not averse to making trips to the mound to talk to his pitcher. It takes a lot of time to call pitches for his pitcher. Does everything slow but throw the baseball. And that he's done well throughout his entire career. 26% of the attempted base stealers this year have been thrown out.
One hopper backs up Matsui. That's the kind of ball that can really fool an infielder when you're backpedaling, but didn't take a squirrely hop on him, and he made the play. As we look ahead, the Felco upcoming schedule, the Blue means road games, so these are all important ones at home. After Thursday, 10 on the road over 11 days. Finishing up with 4 at Colorado. That will not be easy. Marlins playing good ball lately. And you give Wandy Rodriguez a ton of credit tonight for slowing down the Cubs' bats. When your top 2 hitters go a combined 0 for 7, it's going to be tough to score runs, and that's what's happened so far. Derek Lee has gotten on all 3 times, but every time he came up, there was nobody on base.
Well, if the Cubs can find a way to push across a run here in the bottom half of the 8th inning, it would be a great birthday present for Greg Albrecht. 22 years old today. Big time Cubs fan watching tonight, I'm sure.
Happy birthday to Greg. A 1-1 pitch. Bottom part of the zone at 95. LaTroy throwing hard. He's reached 97 tonight. Ryan trying to keep his hitting streak alive. Came in at 8. He is nothing for 3. And faces a 1-2 pitch. Outside. 2-2. Cardinals pulling away from the Dodgers 6-1 in the bottom of the 8th in St. Louis. Washington put up a 6 spot in the 5th at Milwaukee. It's 6-5 Nationals in the 6th as the Brewers came back with 3 of their own in that 5th inning. Cincinnati beat San Diego 6-4 to end their losing streak. Banged off Rodriguez. Still 2-2. 6-game losing streak over for the Reds. Homer Bailey beat Josh Gear. filling up 3-2. Eighth inning's been a good inning for this Cubs offense. The last 4 games, all wins, they scored in their final at bat to tack on some runs. Well, tonight they're tied. Matsui shuffling to his right.
Well, one thing we know about LaTroy Hawkins from his time here in Chicago, and it's pretty much continued in Houston, as good as his numbers look, he has given up his share of home runs. For an 8th inning pitcher, he's given up 5 home runs this year. As a comparison, Carlos Marmol has given up 1 home run. And Hawkins is usually going to find himself pitching in the 8th and 9th inning of close games with the Astros ahead. And those 5 home runs have come at very inopportune times for the Astros.
The pitch to Derek Lee. That handcuffed Rodriguez. Gonna cross up.
Well, it looks like it. Pudge is going to go out and have a talk with his right-hander. Just the way he reacted to that pitch, it looked like he was expecting it to do something else.
BMW ultimate drive of the game. Derek Lee matching his home run output from last year with his 20th. Home runs and 623 at bats last year. About half those at bats, a little more than half, to get to 20 this year. High again, 2-0. Inside, 3-0. I uttered the term green light earlier in terms of stealing bases. The green light him here at the plate.
I think he has the green light, but as we know from watching Derek in his time here in Chicago, he rarely swings at a 3-0 pitch because he realizes even if it's a strike, Hawkins has to do it again on the 3-1 count.
Ball 4. Single, a homer, and 2 walks.
I really believe the 2 walks that he had to close out his day, at least up to this point, were a byproduct of those first 2 at-bats of the ball game. It was very, very apparent early on. Derek Lee was locked in at the plate tonight.
Here's a Ramos. A double in the 4th. 1 for 3. Oh for 3 against his former teammate, LaTroy Hawkins. Short lead by Derek, and the 0-1 a little low. Couple of breaking balls to start the sequence. What's going on here? LaTroy get tossed out.
He must have been jawing from the mound. Mike Everett immediately came out from behind Pudge Rodriguez and said something toward the mound, and he certainly Obviously can't hear it from up here, but Hawkins must have said something else about that last pitch. And ooh, Mike Everett with the quick trigger.
Well, you cannot argue balls and strikes, and that's it for Hawkins. So they have to bring in another reliever to try to finish this 8th inning.
Well, that happened fast.
So after Cecil Cooper and Mike Everett discuss it, Cecil's going to have to figure out who he wants next.
It'd be nice to go ahead and do that now while this argument is going on, so the relief pitcher could have a chance to get started. All right, looked like Mike Everett stepped out there, held up a hand, said, "I've heard enough, that's it."
Well, it'll be Jose Valverde, the closer. And he'll get whatever time he needs. Bottom 8, 1-1. We'll be right back. Ball was called ball 1.
I'll tell you, his catcher Pudge Rodriguez doesn't do him any favor, starting out with a real high setup and then dropping down to his knees as he tracked that curveball.
Watch Mike Everett.
Looks like he says, "Knock it off."
So he goes to put the mask back on. Now he's saying one last chance.
Boom.
So I guess 3 strikes, you're out.
Yeah.
You don't need to read lips, but that's what we do. Looked like he was telling Cecil Cooper, "I warned him," and you can't argue balls and strikes.
Well, while we're waiting to sort this all out, treat your clients, employees, or family to an all-inclusive experience in the Bud Light Batter's Eye. Your guests will enjoy Wrigley Field luxury, enjoying unlimited food and beverages, reserved seating, private restrooms, and a breathtaking view of the friendly confines for only $165 per ticket. For more information, visit Cubs.com/suites or call 773-404-CUBS.
Ramirez was trying to step into the box, and Pudge Rodriguez put up both hands saying, "Hang on a second. We need a couple more pitches." The result of this is the Cubs have to face Jose Valverde, and they don't normally like facing him.
Well, let's just put it this way. The Cubs are due against Jose Valverde.
Ramos 0 for 6 with 5 strikeouts. Yeah, he's due.
Valverde with a fastball and a split-fingered fastball, and has a very short arm delivery. Very tough for hitters to pick up the ball quickly enough to put a good swing on pitches in the strike zone.
So Valverde starts with a 1-1 count. Derek Lee at first, and Valverde with kind of a ceremonial first pitch type toss.
Yeah, that's something he is not very good at all. Holding runners over there at first base. You could tell by that very awkward, stiff-wristed throw over there. He just doesn't feel comfortable throwing to the bases.
Up the middle. Nice flip. Matsui to Tejada to end the inning. Took a while, but only 4 batters came to the plate. It's a 1-1 tie to the ninth.
Line offers exclusive coverage from spring training all the way through the Cubs' next postseason run. Visit the Vine Line blog at Cubs.com and order today.
Carlos Marmol comes into the game to the song "The Rubber Band Man." The Spinners?
Or the old
song?
songs?
We'll find out.
Oh, you got me baffled now.
Facing Kaz Matsui. Spinners.
Okay. Seems appropriate for Marmol.
One and one. We're in the ninth, a 1-1 tie. One and two.
Yeah, for Carlos Marmol, this is his 53rd appearance of the season, placing him third in the National League behind Peter Moylan of the Atlanta Braves and Pedro Feliciano of the Mets.
Called strike 3. Nasty slider at 86.
Hesitate to say it, but Carlos has been much more consistent with his command over his last 4 or 5 outings, throwing a lot more strikes. Doesn't have those wild periods where he just can't seem to find the strike zone. He's been more consistently hammering away. Good slider there.
on Tejada. The Washington Nationals just scored 7 runs in the 6th inning in Milwaukee, and they lead the Brewers 13-5. Jeff Suppan gave up 10 earned runs. Back to Milwaukee. Still a ball and 2 strikes. Nick Swisher with 2 homers for the Bronx Bombers tonight. Johnny Damon, Robinson Cano also going deep.
See Nick Swisher hit 2?
He did.
Probably still in the dugout dancing. Celebration may never end.
Josh Willingham in that Washington-Milwaukee game with 2 grand slams. Another 1-2 from Marmol, smacked into deep center. Johnson won't get there. That ball was just hit too hard. And Tejada is going to keep rounding the bases as the ball got lost in the vines, and Tejada might as well keep running until somebody stops him. Jerry Davis, the crew chief, going out to check on it, saying, okay, it's a double. Well, what he had to find. Reed Johnson put it in his pocket or something. But we kid, but that's the right move by the umpire to go out and make sure. And again, if Reed had reached in and didn't come up with it, then put his hands up, too bad.
Now, once you go into those vines, you better come out with the baseball or keep looking until you find it. This is absolutely the right play by Reed Johnson. Don't even touch those vines. Let the ball stay in there.
For Tejada, his league leading 129th hit and 32nd double. Normally very aggressive. They work the edges here against the dangerous Carlos Lee. There's a strike on a fastball, 1-1.
Carlos Lee 2 for 12 lifetime against Marmol with the double, a walk, and a strikeout. The man in the on-deck circle, Jeff Blum, 0 for 5 with a strikeout. But as you mentioned, Blum has come up with some big clutch hits late throughout the course of his career and this season. Well, now you got a couple of pitches to play with here in the 1-2 count. You can maybe try to lead him out of the zone with a slider, go up the ladder with a fastball. It's right after him. Fastball just inside of the outside corner.
Grounder to third, and Ramirez will throw out Lee, who is hustling hard. Nice play by Aramis. 2 outs.
Hard slider just off the outside corner, gets that little rollover swing from El Caballo. That's a nice running play by Aramis Ramirez. The off-balance throw. He was playing extremely deep for Carlos Lee. Had a long way to go to get to that grounder.
Blum with a runner at second, 2 outs. Went too far with that check swing. Rookie Jeff Stevens up in the bullpen. 0-2. 40,794. Here's a pitch. Got it. 98 on the gun. Right at the knees for strike 3. The Cubs can win it in the bottom of the ninth. Astros 1, Cubs 1. Verde, who came in for LaTroy Hawkins, who got ejected in the bottom of the 8th. Valverde got Ramirez on a fielder's choice to end that inning, and Bradley was trying to end the game with that swing. Verde sets up high with those hands. 1-1. On the DL, missing 41 games late April into mid-June with a right calf strain. And a 1.59 ERA since he came back. Here's a pitch. Just missed on a splitter. 2-1. Scouts in attendance tonight. The pitch, it fouled. 2-2. Well, Bradley, Bob, has taken a lot of walks lately. This would be a good spot for another one. Soriano next.
As you mentioned, Valverde with a long stint on the disabled list this year, but in 25 innings pitched coming into play tonight, only 6 base on balls.
Way inside, 3-2.
But Valverde just tried to overthrow that fastball, runs it up and into Milton Bradley, runs the count to full.
Here it is, outside, a leadoff walk.
It's a situation that a lot of times you would expect to sacrifice bunt. I don't think Alfonso Soriano even looked down to Mike Quade at third base.
Not a stolen base threat. 0 for 1 on the year. Here's a pitch to Soriano. Ball 1. Dramatic pauses by this Astros bullpen. Wandy Rodriguez worked very quickly, but Hawkins and Valverde really taking the air out of the ball, so to speak. A 1-0 pitch. It's badly 2-0.
They're going to let a little more air out of the ball. You know, Pudge Rodriguez has to make at least a couple trips to the mound every inning he's behind the plate. Just trying to settle his closer down here, but if he were throwing strikes, I think we'd see a few visits to the mound. Dewey Robinson is jealous because he wants to know what they're talking about, so the pitching coach makes a trip to the mound.
Well, in order to stay in first, the Cubs need to win because St. Louis just beat the Dodgers 6-1. Chris Carpenter went 7 innings, giving up 9 hits but only 1 run as he bested Randy Wolf. Ryan Franklin got his 23rd save. So the Cardinals holding serve tonight. Cubs trying to do the same here against the Astros. Way inside, 3-0.
Right now, Valverde can't command anything. Missing with his fastball, missing with his splitter. Threw a splitter there on the 2-0 pitch to Alfonso Soriano.
Three and one. Two. Both teams certainly understand the importance of this game tonight. We're in late July. Still 2 months plus to go in the season. But the Cubs win. They're 3 up on Houston. A half game ahead of St. Louis. The Astros win. They're only a game behind the Cubs. And St. Louis would be in first. Bradley goes on the 3-2 swing and a miss, but Bradley's safe at second base. Got a really good jump. So it kind of works out like a sac bunt, a strikeout and a stolen base, his first as a member of the Cubs.
The swing by Soriano held Pudge Rodriguez just long enough behind the plate to allow Milton Bradley, after he got that big jump at first base, to easily slide into second without a play.
Michael Hoffpauir is going to bat for Jeff Baker. I'll tell you, Bob, we see these spurts from the veterans like Soriano and Bradley. Milton looked like a base stealer on that stolen base. We've seen Soriano just maybe a couple of times with a good surge. They just don't run a whole lot. Soriano runs a lot more than Bradley, but he looked good out there.
Well, that's a dimension of the Cubs offense that has pretty much been non-existent throughout the season up to this point.
They're going to intentionally walk Hoffpauir, again playing the percentage move, even though Micah has hit just 190 over his last 46 games. Coy Hill on deck. There's ball 3.
There were 2 remaining left-handed bats on the bench for Lou Piniella should he choose to go that direction. Kosuke Fukudome 0 for 3 with a strikeout against Valverde. And Mike Fontenot 1 for 4 with a strikeout against the Astros closer.
Going to roll the dice. Taking Hill out, meaning if this game goes to extras, Jake Fox will come in and catch. And Fukudome is going to bat for Hill. But what Lou is saying is, let's end it right here. Not even worry about extras. The Astros will try to turn 2 to get out of this and get it into the 10th. Bradley at second, Hoffpauir at first. No hits in the inning, a leadoff walk, a strikeout and a stolen base, and then an intentional free pass to Hoffpauir. Here's the pitch. Ball 1. The most transparent decoy in the history of baseball, Carlos Marmol on deck.
Might as well send Otis Hellman up there in the on-deck circle. That's not fooling anybody.
2-0. Although, as the on-deck hitter, you do have possibly some duties, right, on a huge play at the plate.
Absolutely. On a ball hit to the outfield, if Milton Bradley rounds the bag at third and comes home, that on-deck hitter is responsible for letting the runner know which direction to slide, or should he stand up. You got a job to do.
Valverde steps off before an important 2-0 offer. Kick and the pitch. 2-1. Valverde trying to get through an inning in which he really doesn't have any command.
Fukudome swinging a ball 3 right there. A fastball that just continued to cut inside.
Three and one. Cubs trying to win their 5th in a row. Valverde is ready for a 3-1 pitch. They are loaded up. Who's it going to be?
We've got Jake Fox, Mike Fontenot, and Andres Blanco available at this point off the bench. Going with the left-hander.
It's the easiest second guess in the world. But were you surprised at all they intentionally walked Hoffpauir, considering the lack of command tonight for Valverde?
Yeah, I mean, the strikeout of Soriano, but lost in that is how badly he missed the strike zone on the pitches that were called balls. He was all over the place before getting the strikeout of Soriano after the unintentional walk to Bradley, the intentional walk then to Hoffpauir. Yeah, I have to tell you, I was a little surprised. I mean, we've seen a lot of Micah Hoffpauir, a lot more than the Astros have, and guys that give him trouble are hard throwers, and certainly Valverde can rush it up there in the mid-90s.
Everybody in the outfield is pulled in. Double play depth up the middle in the infield. Strike one to Fontenot. Corner men in, right at the edge of the grass, trying to cut down that winning run.
Good arms across the Astros outfield. 6 assists for Carlos Lee, 8 for Michael Bourne, 8 for Hunter Pence.
Winning run 90 feet away. Milton Bradley there. 3 walks in the inning. 1-1 to Fontenot.
Good to lay off that pitch. The last thing in the world you want to do here is hit a ground ball. Try to make Valverde give you something up in the zone that you can at least lift in the air to the outfield and give your team a chance to win this ball game. Make him get it up.
Here goes a squeeze, and he bunted through it, and the tag applied. Throw to third. Save. They put on the squeeze play. Fontenot bunted through it, and Bradley was a dead duck. Fortunately, Hoffpower got into third safely, or this game would have gone to the 10th. As it is, 2 outs.
Well, that's hard to believe that Mike Fontenot bunted right through that ball. Catches everybody by surprise. Anything on the ground, and this game is over. And that's a big 90 feet there, as you see Fontenot just absolutely bunts right through the ball.
First and third now. Hit foul as Fukudome took off for second.
The reason I say that was a big 90 feet for Micah Hoffpower is Milton Bradley was being tagged out. He advanced on to third. Pudge Rodriguez has 4 pass balls on the season. Valverde throwing that split-fingered fastball out there on the mound is very likely to bounce one here.
Fukudome not running. The pitch is high. Boy, with 1 out in that situation, as you said, caught everybody by surprise. Anything fair that's not in the air ends the game. Wasn't executed, but I think the idea was right. I saw Michael Bourne get caught stealing on a 3-0 pitch early on. It's not the idea, it's the result. That's driven as Bourne goes after it, and he's going to get there, and we're going to extras. So Fontenot can't get down the suicide squeeze, and then skies to center to end the ninth. 1-1.
Down into fair territory somewhere. I got to tell you, Len, I'm still amazed that Pondo bunted right through that ball. It was a straight fastball, middle of the plate, right there.
Like Everett going over the Cubs lineup card probably with Cecil Cooper, as Jake Fox is going to catch. Only 2 innings on his resume at this level prior to tonight, as the Cubs went for broke in the ninth. Fontenot and Stevens also in. The more I think about this play, I like the play. You just have to execute. If it's executed, game over.
I tried a similar play in the National League Championship Series back in 01 with Tony Womack at the plate and the bases loaded against the left-hander Steve Klein from the Cardinals. And at that point in the ball game, I felt like we had a better chance to get that run home with Tony Womack bunting against a tough left-hander than we did him swinging away. Unfortunately, a very similar result. He bunted through it. The runner was out at home. But unlike tonight, Tony Womack came up with a big base hit to left field to win the game anyway.
So it's Jeff Stevens and Jake Fox. 1 ball, no strikes to Hunter Pence. Stevens has been impressive. 3 appearances at this level, 4 innings. No runs, no hits, in fact. 4-seam fastball and a curveball, so it keeps it pretty simple. Jake Fox, caught in college. 2-2. Alberto Arias up for the Astros, and he got him. Jake dropped it. He'll have to throw on to first. I think Jake behind the plate, it's like every other defensive position. May not look pretty, but hopefully he'll get the job done.
Just block the strikes. That's all we ask.
He has such a great attitude. You can see him smiling. He's flat out dropped it. Too often you see it. Did he call it on the swing or on the pitch?
I believe it was on the pitch, but
yeah.
I'm not sure.
Too many called strike threes are dropped. But swing and a miss. 1-1. And coast.
Jake did catch a little bit at the AAA level this year. I'm not sure if he had an opportunity to catch Jeff Stevens, but there's a chance that maybe he caught a pen session or 2 from Stevens.
He is the living embodiment of the John Fogerty song, center field. Put me in, coach. I'm ready to play.
Put me in, coach.
Yep. 2 strikeouts for Stevens.
Well, Jake's calling a great game up to this point. First strikeout on a curveball, this one on a fastball that just locks up Chris Coast.
Jason Michaels bats for Valverde. He has to feel very fortunate that he got out of that 9th inning without the game ending. Give up a hit, but 3 walks loaded the bases with only 1 out. A botched suicide squeeze helped him get out of it. 1-1. Talking with Jeff Stevens, his philosophy is pretty simple. Be aggressive, go right after the hitters, and he has done that tonight. Some high heat that time, 2-2.
He's got a little bit of deception to his delivery, not quite to the extent of Chris Young from the San Diego Padres, but he shows the hitter a real high front side. Left arm, left shoulder. And drives that ball down into the strike zone.
Kick and the 3-2 pitch is driven out into right center. Bradley can't cut it off. Michaels hustling hard, taking a look at his third base coach. They've got a play on him at third. Gets past Ramirez as Michaels took a huge chance with 2 outs. Dave Clark, the third base coach, might be telling him, "Why'd you do that?" Was he sending him?
I think he was waving him. Yeah, I was watching Michaels the whole way, and when he got about 15 feet from second base, he took a peek to his left, and Dave Clark was waving him on around second base.
They had a shot at him.
Oh, they had definitely had a shot at him. A better relay throw from Mike Fontenot to Ramos Ramirez, and they have him out by a mile at third base. Bradley gets to it quickly, gets it to Mike Fontenot in good shape. Tough short hop for Ramos Ramirez to handle right there.
There are 2 outs in the inning as Pudge Rodriguez comes up. This is where Stevens can't throw too many pitches in the dirt. With a fairly inexperienced catcher back there. Just missed ball 1 on a good curve. Jake's going to have to keep everything in front of him.
Getting ready to block that curveball before Pudge Rodriguez fouled it out of play. Sees that breaking ball headed for the dirt. Assumes the position.
Yep. Brian Gorman made the call 1 and 2.
Back up there again. There you go.
High heat. He struck him out. 3 Ks in the inning for the rookie, Jeff Stevens. Bottom 10, 1-1. Michaels, but then he struck out future Hall of Famer Ivan Rodriguez and Alberto Arias, who's had a really good year. Comes in to work the bottom of the 10th against the top of the order. And I also should correct something I said. I said Jake Fox, fairly inexperienced back to the plate. It's really not the case. At the minor league level, he's had more games at catcher than any other position, but no secret that he's been considered a subpar defensive player at all the different positions, but he's played 5 different spots already this year and has done such a nice job at the plate and really has held his own defensively that he's still on this roster. And he helped the rookie Stevens threw a scoreless top of the 10th. Johnson fouls. Strike one. I tell you, nobody's left. You might be sitting at home saying, well, what do you mean nobody's left? It's the 10th inning, a 1-1 game. You've got a Monday night, and in most parks, a lot of people just have to leave. Not here. Just a very few empty seats. 2-1.
And once again, one of those Fuller games here at Wrigley Field. We mentioned the wind has been howling straight out to center field all night. We've had 2 runs scored combined.
And both home runs probably go out with the wind blowing in. 2-hopper. Tejada comes across. Foul by Terrio. I am not taking a shot. Well, I am a little bit. The Dodger Stadium fans, you know, they sell out there. It'll be 56, 57,000, but they arrive late, and we see taillights in the parking lot all night. But here, pretty much everybody's here when the first pitch is thrown. And nobody wants to leave. They have to kick everybody out an hour after the game.
Well, they announced 56,000 at Dodger Stadium. Technically, for 2 minutes, there might have been 56,000 people in the stand. Certainly not at the beginning or the end. But with the traffic in L.A., you can hardly blame them.
And we don't have any traffic here.
No. Boy, such a beautiful night. Why would you want to leave? It's just absolutely perfect here at Wrigley Field tonight.
Oh, 2 to Terrio, a little high. Arias had a streak of 22 straight appearances without allowing an earned run, but that ended yesterday against the Mets. Gave up 3. Basically went 2 months without allowing an earned run, and Terrio waited back, tried that emergency swing to foul it off, and couldn't. But Derek Lee could end this thing with 1 swing. He's reached all 4 times tonight. Dirt ball for ball 1.
I think Alberto Arias is a lot like Carlos Marmol for the Cubs. He's just kind of a closer in waiting. He's got really, really good stuff.
Two and 0 to Lee. Is this room service? Yeah, I'd like a fastball at 92, belt high, middle in. Sorry, sir, all we have are sliders.
3-0. We'll have that right up in an hour and a half. middle of the plate fastballs cost on a room service menu?
It's a delivery fee. Well, he went after the 3-0. Back to the 4th inning.
Oh, this is what he was hoping to accomplish on that 3-0 swing. Oh, just a bomb off of Wandy Rodriguez back in the 4th.
See what he gets on a 3-1. The kick, the pitch, slider strike, 3-2. Ramirez on deck.
You mentioned this guy reminds me a little of Marmol.
Yeah, 3-1 slider.
Wicked slider on a 3-1 pitch. There's another one here.
Golfed in the air. Pence playing really deep, but he's going to have time to make the play. There's a lot of air under that fly ball. We're going to head to the 11th. Director Dave Turner. Dave's got a vacation coming up. I'm going to give him a thriller here before he heads off for a few days. Our associate producer, good to have Tamara Anderson back with us tonight. Christine Charbonneau, our stage manager in the booth. Chris Kentner's our technical director. The tech manager, Mark Harper. Our senior executive producer of Comcast Sportsnet, Jim Corno Jr. Gary Pressey in the background there. Just going to sit and watch. It's curfew time.
Well, he's humming. You just can't hear him.
Andy and Paul also in the PA booth. Paul Friedman does a great job of public address announcing. Michael Bourne out in the left onto the track. Soriano the catch at the corner of the well.
Probably Michael Bourne's best bolt the other way. He's a typical leadoff hitter. In the advanced meetings, they probably talk about pitch him away, play him away. Throw him a ball up and out over the plate. Let him see how far he can hit a fly ball to the opposite field. He just doesn't quite have enough power to get it out.
1-0 on Matsui, who is 0 for 4. 2 strikeouts, a double play included. Twins edge the White Sox up at the Metrodome 4-3. Game-winning homer by Michael Kadire. 2-run shot off John Danks in the 6th inning. So after Burley's perfect game, the White Sox have gone 1-4. All against their own division. Detroit lost at Texas 5-2, the final in that one. 3-2 to Matsui. Zambrano went 7, gave up 1. Heilman and Marmol with scoreless innings. Same for Stevens in the 10th. He's now in his 2nd inning. And Soriano's going to catch this one. Matsui retired. Tejada, Stevens has only thrown 1 first pitch strike, but he's getting it done. Sure, there are a lot of conversations going on in that visitors' dugout regarding what Jeff Stevens brings to the table. He's an unfamiliar pitcher to this Astros lineup. 2-0.
Looking fastball on the outside corner right there. Must have been just a little off the corner. Yeah, the scouting reports you get on a pitcher you're not familiar with are all word of mouth initially until the scouts have an opportunity to see enough of Jeff Stevens. You get a little videotape, check him out. And right now the Astros are just relying on good old-fashioned word of mouth. What did you see?
(3-1), and that's into the corner and left. That'll be extra bases for Tejada. Well, in the 10th, it was Jason Michaels with a 2-out triple. Here in the 11th, it's a double by Tejada. You have first base open with Carlos Lee coming up. Jeff Blum would bat after him.
Good fastball up and in. But Tejada stepped in the bucket a little bit real quick with his hands, got through that ball and lined it down into the left field corner for a double. Depending on how quickly Sean Marshall can get ready down in the bullpen, for me, you got to walk Carlos Lee right here. As good as Jeff Blum has been in some critical situations for the Astros, Carlos Lee has killed the Cubs over the course of his career. I got to take the bat right out of his hand. A little bit of a leap of faith there for Lou. He's not real familiar with Jeff Stevens either. He hasn't been on the ball club that long, hasn't been in a situation like this certainly since his recall from AAA Iowa, but apparently Lou got the answer he was looking for. They're going to walk Carlos Lee. And that long trip to the mound, and now the intentional walk. Certainly Sean Marshall will have plenty of time to get ready to face Jeff Blum if they decide to go that direction.
Blum with just 21 at bats, right-handed, but he's 8 for 21 for a .381 average. So an intentional walk to Lee, and Lou's going to go with Marshall. So Marshall in for Stevens with 2 on, 2 down in the 11th. Jeff should get a nice hand as he exits. at this hour of the night. I can't imagine if the Cubs ever had Trevor Hoffman on their roster, how that would go. It's Blum batting right-handed against the lefty Marshall. 2 on, 2 down. We're in the 11th. Curve, strike. Stevens gave up 2 hits, but he struck out 3, got 5 outs. Tejada, the runner at second. Lee is at first. Bounced into the home dugout. 0-2. Here's a pitch, swing and a miss. Marshall strands a couple more runners. He's been as good as anybody in baseball in that department. Bottom of the 11th, 1-1. Out. See if the Cubs can take advantage here in the bottom of the 11th. That's where the jet stream is. Arias went 1, 2, 3 on the 10th and bounced up there against Aramis Ramirez. Ramirez has been Mr. Clutch as a member of the Cubs. 2-0.
Well, that's a tough strike right there. May have been a strike, but that's certainly not a pitch Aramis Ramirez wants to swing at. 2-0. Sinking, tailing fastball down around the knees, maybe a little below the knees.
And hard, Matsui kind of short-armed it. Leadoff man is on. He was shaded up the middle, so he had to range a little bit to his left, but when he got there, couldn't get his glove on him.
I mentioned earlier in the game, Matsui with only 2 errors this season. That ball's only 2 steps to his left. He just tried to slide on the ground, make a a pick and throw to first base and couldn't come up with it. That's ruled a base hit. Probably should have been an error on Matsui. Didn't have to leave his feet there.
Pitch to Bradley. Very late swing. In the bottom of the ninth, Bradley walked and then stole second. Eventually, he was at third. Bases loaded, 1 out. The Cubs tried the squeeze play. Mike Fontenot bunted through it, and Bradley was tagged out easily. This will be Tejada. He'll apply the tag. Only gets 1 out.
One of those fastballs down, like the one that was called a strike on Aramis Ramirez. Milton Bradley just bangs it into the ground in front of home plate. Fortunately, the only play for Tejada was to get Ramirez at second base. Milton Bradley takes over at first.
Soriano had the game-winning RBI double yesterday against Cincinnati. This has been a rough night tonight. 6-4-3 double play in the second, and then swinging strikeouts in the fourth, seventh, and ninth. Arias ready. The kick and the pitch. And that's it. Fair ball. Soriano didn't run. He's out. Did he think he bounced it off himself?
That's all I can figure out. He never left the batter's box.
He never left, and he's thrown out by Jeff Blum. Bradley is at second with 2 outs. Well, it's a 5-3 ground out. And it didn't hit his foot. It was in front of his foot. It didn't appear to hit his foot.
It was very close to the toe of that left shoe. Once again, you got to sell it better than that. You got to hop around, grab your foot. The upside is it does move Milt Bradley into scoring position for Jake Fox.
Well, and the reality is, even if he had run, he would have been thrown out. But you would like to see him run, just in case. Soriano was hoping that ball was going to be called foul, but it was not.
Well, discussion on the mound between the manager, the pitcher, and the catcher with Jake Fox at the plate, and the pitcher spot, I believe, is due up next. Jeff Stevens. The only available.
Actually, Marshall.
I'm sorry, Marshall, yeah. The only available bat off the bench at this point is Andres Blanco. And really, Jake Fox's run or at bat at this point means nothing. I'd be surprised if they don't walk him intentionally, if for no other reason, just to exhaust Lou Piniella's bench.
That's what they're going to do. any young would-be directors out there who want to make a motion picture about a baseball game, write this down. If you include an intentional walk in your movie, you better have a booing track in the background.
Yeah.
It's one of those little nuances of baseball that you got to get right.
And if the pitcher happens to fake to third and throw to first, everybody has to yell balk.
That's a prerequisite. Yeah.
And it will be Blanco taking the at-bat for the pitcher spot in the Cubs order right here. I tell you, Andres Blanco has been a hero for the Cubs many times with the leather since his recall from AAA Iowa. It'd be nice to see him be a hero with the bat right here.
He tied a game earlier this year, and he thought it was a winning run.
Thought it was a winner, yeah.
Well, this time it would be. So he's been fun to be around. Bouncing around the clubhouse with a ton of energy. Cubs need a big hit. Winning run at second base. It's Bradley there. And the pitch. Ball one.
Really important. Milton Bradley work for a maximum lead out there at second base. Be aggressive with your secondary lead, and once that ball gets past the hitting area, reverse engines and get back to second base quickly. You know, Pudge Rodriguez loves to throw to the bases.
Backdoor slider. 1-1. Sui plays a candy hop, and the 11th is over. Arias with 2 scoreless innings. The 12th inning right around the corner in a 1-1. They're 4-1 in extras at home. And right-hander Jeff Samardzija will make his 12th appearance. Saw him yesterday in the 9th. Gave up 2 hits and a run in 2/3 of an inning before Kevin Gregg got the final out for the save. Hunter Pence will lead it off for Houston. 9th time they've been in extras. 0-2 on the road. Bad idea by Pence with Ramirez playing back. Pence took it for a strike on the outside corner. Slider that time. 0-2.
Time to waste one. If you're going to miss badly in your favor. And that time Samardzija tried to throw a splitter up there and bounced it in the left-handed batter's box.
Pence was late on the swing. And grounds out to Derek Lee. Somebody get over there.
I'm pretty sure that was Jake Fox. Old habits die hard for catchers. It's one of the first drills you do in spring training. The pitcher's fielding practice. A coach will stand at home plate and hit ground ball after ground ball to the first baseman. The pitcher's break to get over there, and all the catcher has to do is stand at home plate and yell, "Get over there, get over there."
Chris Coast. It's a foul. All right, listen in to Jake Fox on this ground ball to first. No doubt that was a catcher.
Sometimes you only have to yell once because most pitchers are real conscientious about breaking over there to cover first base. Sometimes you got to yell 2 or 3 times to remind them.
Up for Derek Lee, 2 outs. Underestimate the job the bullpen has done tonight. Heilman, Marmol, Stevens, Marshall, and Jeff Samardzija. The 2 outs in the 12th, facing pinch hitter Jeff Keppinger. Arias really good tonight. 2 innings, a hit, a walk, a strikeout, no runs. Lefty, Tim Burdick. I think it's Chris Sampson. A blooper out into center, and it's going to drop for a hit. Keppinger keeping them alive. Brings up Pudge Rodriguez.
Good pitch by Samardzija. That tailing fastball right in on the knuckles of Jeff Keppinger. He gets just enough of it to dunk it between Terrio and Reed Johnson out there in shallow center.
Giants made a trade acquiring Ryan Garko, first baseman from the Cleveland Indians. I have a feeling we're going to hear about a lot of movement this week. They gave up a minor league left-handed pitcher, Scott Barnes. To Rodriguez, a called strike. Jeff will stay with that heater. Talked about Rodriguez's bat speed this year. He was late on that swing. 1-2, bouncer to short. And the throw to second and plenty of time. So Samardzija gets through the top of the 12th unscathed. It'll be 9-1-2 for the Cubs in the last of the 12th. Better against righties than lefties, and he'll face a lefty to start it, Mike Fontenot. He has a win and a save in 7 previous appearances this year against the Cubs. 2 earned runs in just under 11 innings. He was activated from the DL on Sunday, had right shoulder spasms. That's what put him on the DL on the 11th of this month.
You mentioned Sampson, a dead sinker ball pitcher. Tough to get the ball in the air against him. He's only surrendered 1 home run this season in 47 2/3 innings pitched.
Matsui's been busy. 1 out. Boy, top of the lineup. Sound like a broken record, but Johnson and Terrio 0 for 10.
They do. I mentioned quite a few hours ago that when you have 2 good pitchers on top of their game, the way the starters were tonight, the game usually hinges on some kind of a mistake. Good time for a mistake right here. I guess you could say the game already has hinged on a mistake. Mike Fontenot bunting through the squeeze bunt attempt.
Poke foul down the first base line.
Well, how about this for an oddity, Len? The Peoria Chiefs tonight hooked up with the Wisconsin Timber Rattlers. The Chiefs won 2-1. All 3 runs scored on solo homers, and both starting pitchers finished the game. Rarely happens in the minor leagues anymore.
You're right.
Austin Bibbins Dirks, the winner for the Chiefs.
Pence slides and grabs for the out. Spell Dirks for me.
It is.
Is there a K and an X?
His first name is Austin. Then it's Bibbins, B-I-B-E-N-S, D-I-R-K-S. Recently signed out of the independent leagues. He's pitched really well for the Chiefs.
KX. One to nothing to Terrio. In the hole, backhanded by Tejada. What a play. He gets rid of it quickly and throws out his counterpart. That was an 8-pitch 1-2-3-12 for Sampson. Off to the 13th we go.
Team with 7 hits. Neither team has made an error in this ball game tonight. It'll be the top of the order for the Astros. Michael Bourne leading it off against Jeff Samardzija.
And a base hit into right. I was just going to say, Bob, I think for both teams, as you roll around through the lineups, each manager gets a little bit more tense every time you get to the top of the order. And in the case of Chris Sampson, he didn't have to face Derek Lee in the 12th. Derek will lead off the bottom of the 13th, and this is a tough inning for Samardzija, especially now with Bourne on base, and he leads the league in steals.
And Jake Fox behind the plate. Now, Kaz Matsui has put down 8 sack bunts this year. That would seem to be the play.
Foul.
But because of the relative inexperience behind the plate by Jake Fox and a young pitcher on the mound, they may choose to just have Matsui show bunt, pull the bat back, and let Bourne try to steal a base. Another 2-cushion bank shot off the mask of Jake Fox, and then once again off the mask of Mike Everett.
He deadens it, and Samardzija will throw to Fontenot.
Ball had backspin coming off his bat. Just skidded in the dirt, ended up rolling about halfway to the mound, where Samardzija picks it up barehanded to throw on to Fontenot for the out. Perfect bunt by Matsui. Got some more mask issues with Mike Everett behind home plate. Some trouble with that extended throat guard.
So 2 shots at it, and 2 guys hitting over 300. Tejada and Lee. Kick, the pitch, ball 1. The 1-0. Blown Tejada with 2 doubles in his last 2 at-bats. 3-0, and he walked it. Set up a potential double play. Lee with a homer, a single, an intentional walk, made 2 outs. Larry Rothschild out to the mound. Now looking at the big picture, Ryan Dempster tomorrow night's in that 80 to 90 pitch range. Justin Bird has yet to make his major league debut, and it might come in extras. So this was not an ideal time for a game that'll last at least 13 innings in terms of your bullpen. But you got to do what you got to do.
On cue, Justin Bird begins to throw down in that Cubs bullpen.
I don't think anybody used so far tonight out of the pen would be unavailable tomorrow. Maybe Jeff Stevens, who went an inning and 2/3, and Samardzija working on his second inning. You got to go after Carlos Lee. Don't want to load him up with less than 2 outs. Good start.
Good location on that tailing fastball. Started just off the outside corner. You can see how far off the plate Carlos Lee positions himself in that batter's box. And it's like a cliche, but if you hit that outside corner at the knees, not very many guys are going to do damage, but especially a guy that stands as far off the plate as Carlos Lee does.
Oh, 2. Fox had to go up and get it.
Torn rotator cuff is an injury more commonly associated with a pitcher, but if you get too many of those, you'll be visiting your friendly orthopedic surgeon for your left arm if you're a catcher.
Terrio gets 1 at second. The relay throwing time. Double play. 6-4-3 to get out of the inning. Bottom of the 13. Still tied.
Right on top of him with the slide, but the strong relay on to Derek Lee, and Carlos Lee has grounded into his 12th double play of the season, getting the Cubs out of a jam.
Lee, Ramirez, Bradley due up. Sampson went 1-2-3, got help from Miguel Tejada in the defensive gym to end the 12th. Here we go on the bottom of the 13th. Slider outside. A wind and the 2-0 pitch. An epiphany here. Let's see how good streaks for individual hitters can snowball like it has for Derek Lee. It's like he's in a 3-0 count every time he comes up. Nobody wants to throw him a strike, and then they have to. Well, Sampson missed on all 4.
Including a slider on the 3-0 count. He just refused to give in. Maybe it's because Derek Lee was 6 for 14 with a homer and a double lifetime against Sampson.
And then on the other side of the ledger, when you're scuffling and you're not hitting your pitch, guys go right after you, and all of a sudden it's 0-2, and then you chase as you try to hit your way out of a slump. It seems like every time Derek's at the plate, it's 2-0, 3-1. Early in the year, it was 0-2 more often than not. Sampson's missed on the first 5 pitches of this inning.
A 4-game series with Pudge Rodriguez behind the plate. There will be a path worn from home plate to the mound by the time this series is over. It'll look like Chase Field.
Kick the 1-0. Missed again. Seven bad ones to start the inning. (3-1) on Ramirez. Try to make Sampson get his sinker up in the zone on a 3-1 pitch. Outside corner, he painted for strike 2. You send Lee.
Well, I think you do. You know, Ramirez is a pretty good contact hitter. He's shown since coming off the disabled list he's willing to go the other way on these counts.
Derek runs in a check swing foul.
And the only problem with running Derek Lee in this situation, it might make Ramirez chase that borderline pitch that's outside of the strike zone just to protect Derek Lee. I mean, you can't afford to take a borderline pitch. You never know whether it's going to be called a strike or a ball, so you have to be a little more aggressive, even more so than you normally are in a 3-2 count.
Ramirez wants a new bat.
That's the one.
It's got game winner written on it. There goes Derek. Base hit left field. Lee will make the turn and end up at third. A golden opportunity to win it. First and third, nobody out.
Screaming ground ball hit to that left side of the infield on a sinker ball down. Looked like Tejada didn't pick it up initially off the bat. Very slow reacting to his right that time, and that ball just shot past him into left field. Because Derek Lee was on the move, he's able to easily advance all the way around to third. They'll walk Milton Bradley intentionally. Here we go.
To load him up for Soriano. Another ball just rolled in from, I believe, the Astros pen. Chance for Soriano to win the game for the second straight day.
And this should be a good matchup for Fonzie. I haven't even looked at what his career numbers are against Sampson, but Alfonso Soriano is a dead low ball hitter. Sampson featuring that sinking fastball, the hard slider with downward movement. Soriano 3 for 16 lifetime. That surprises me. This should be a good matchup for him.
Bases loaded, nobody out. 1-1 in the bottom of the 13th. Everybody in. Infielders and outfielders. Here's a pitch. Ball one. Winning run represented by Derek Lee at the moment at third base. You have Ramirez behind him at second. Bradley at first. Force at any base. Fly ball with any depth to it wins it. Up in the air, and that will do it. Deep to center for Soriano. Got a grand slam. They only needed one. They got four. They win it 5-1. He started the night 0 for 5. And he puts a huge exclamation point on this one. Luke is standing by with the hero.
A happy hero. Alfonso, tell us about that at bat. You only needed a fly ball. Were those for style points, the grand slam?
Yeah, no, I just tried to put the ball in play. And I have a very good swing. He threw me a very good slider, but I made a very good swing. I think I have a very good bat. That's all bad.
10-game hitting streak for you now. How comfortable are you starting to feel at the plate?
I feel very comfortable, you know. I'm working very hard with the hitting coach, and I feel very comfortable in the home plate. That's more important right now.
You guys have won 9 of the last 11 games since that All-Star break. Can you put your finger on what the difference is?
I don't know. We try to put behind, you know, the first half. We have a very rough first half, but now in the second half, we try to put everything together because we have a very good team, and I hope that we still keep doing play like we play right now.
Did you point at somebody after that home run?
Yeah, my family, they're behind the home plate. They watch the game, so I'm very happy, and I think they're very happy too.
And then you gave them the little wave.
You can see me, baby.